I have a really good family. We're happy together. Me and my sister, we get along. You know, we can talk to each other. We communicate well. We go out. We do things as a family should do. My financial life is taken off as well. I can now take the opportunities that are given to me. My love life as well. I'm in a wonderful relationship where there's understanding, there's love, there's care, there's kindness. Something I never had in previous relationship, and it's never always been like that. I had an accident where I was in the back of a truck, and as I was going to the countryside, I was falling asleep, and the only thing I remember is when my eyes opened, the truck was on top of me. So because of that accident, I had pains for 6 years. And it was really, really bad because I liked dancing, and I remember I said I wanted to be a dancer. Years ago, I wanted to be a dancer. Not anymore. But, and I remember every time I would do certain moves, I could feel the pain in my side. In regards to my financial life, I had immigration problems. So I was in the country for, I think at least 10 years without anything. So I missed out on many opportunities. And also in regards to my love life, before I came to the church, I was in a relationship where there wasn't any care, there wasn't any love. I remember someone at the time, the bishop at the time, would say, "Oh, those who believe that God can, can make you better, can heal you, come to the front." And I was still really new in everything. But I went to the front because I believed in that moment. I really believed. Until now, I believe, And I went there, and someone prayed for me. And it was after that prayer that everything went. The pains I was feeling for so many years, it went. I started coming to the meetings also in relation to my love life that we have on Saturdays. I started coming to those meetings where you would learn how to be in a happy relationship, what is a happy relationship, and how you can actually be happy. I understood the importance of family, that family is something that is really precious. My advice for someone who might be going through immigration problem at the moment, and they're probably hiding, because sometimes when you hear the siren, they just think, "Oh my gosh, is it going to be me?" God help me to find a solution, because sometimes we realize that there's steps that you can take. Either it's to write to the Home Office again, but you have to persevere. You have to persevere. You can never ever think that, that's it, I'm going to give up. I attended meetings on Mondays, which was specifically for financial life. And through those meetings, I heard things that pushed me to take actions, to take steps. If a person, maybe you're right now struggling in your love life, think, I'm with someone and I can see that this person doesn't care for me, but I'm still with them because I don't want to be alone. There's no harm in being alone. The harm is when you're with someone and you're suffering. Don't put yourself down. If the person you're with is treating you badly, you don't have to go through that. Pick up yourself, have confidence, value who you are, because that's what I did.
Good evening and welcome to Finding Answers. Did something like this happen to you, like just you saw in the story of this lady? Maybe you are watching us tonight and you used to be someone full of dreams, full of hope, full of goals, very energetic. You used to inspire other people. They would love being close to you. They would really, like to spend time with you because you would bring so much energy, so much light into the environment, but maybe something happened. Just like in her story, an accident, something that impaired her, at least for a while, from doing what she loved to do, and that maybe happened to you. Maybe not necessarily an accident, the loss of someone whom you loved very much. Some bad news came to you, you lost a job, something regarding your career, something regarding your professional life. So now you are in a situation where it's like you became another person. You lost that joy, you lost that light, you lost that spark, and you find yourself right now pretty much depressed. Your life has been brought to a halt. Can there be a change? Is it possible to overcome this? Is it possible to bounce back I am telling you straight away, of course it is. Just like this lady you saw found help through faith, through the right guidance, through prayer. Faith can make a big difference when we learn how to use it. You might tell me, but I already heard about faith. I've been to churches, I tried prayer, I tried different things, but nothing could help me snap out of this misery, this cycle of negativity, this maybe even self-loathing, you're despising yourself, everything. There's no perspective for your future. But the fact that you have faith, it doesn't mean that you know how to use it. The fact that you have tried something doesn't mean that you have tried everything. If you didn't come to the solution to this situation, then you haven't tried everything yet. So we're going to talk about this tonight. Tonight's topic is keep going, because life goes on. And you don't have to be living, just staying in this like a car that is stuck in the mud, that can't come off. You don't have to be in a situation like this. We're going to talk about tonight. We have a live guest here. We have a lot of good things to show you. Stay with us. We're going to watch this video that talks more about tonight's topic, and we'll come back to continue speaking with you.
When people experience disaster, maybe a death, the breakdown of a relationship, or some bad news about an illness, it's natural to experience feelings of wanting to give up. Maybe you feel demotivated, you feel lost or unhappy. If you are stuck in a rut and you can't see a way out, then you may start to believe that there are no starting points for you, and there is no way out. It could be that you have even considered suicide. With a disaster in life, there may come periods of grief, self-judgment, and self-criticism. But you do need to keep climbing, keep reaching. If you have made a mistake, then learn from the mistake. You may need to use your imagination for the first time in a while, but this will help you to keep going. In order to keep going, you will need 3 things. Intention. This is the will in willpower. It's the tenacity to stay on task, but it's also what you may fear losing. Effort. If you are facing a big challenge, your effort is enhanced by being able to gauge the amount that's needed. Otherwise, you may set expectations, which could therefore be a large barrier to change. Courage. This is the willingness to bear the intensity of fear and of other emotions. You may feel like you don't have these 3 elements yet, but they will come. Keep going.
So the truth is that life goes on. Time doesn't stop, and just waiting for things to change, or just thinking, believing that this is the way that things will always be, that isn't the best option for you. You might be watching us tonight and even crying, maybe even at certain moments contemplating suicide, saying, well, I'm better off dead than the way that I'm living. But the truth is that death is, the only thing that death can finish is the body, is the physical life. Because it's not the end of everything. We may talk about it in another program, but the truth is that this idea that, when someone thinks, I can't go on living like this is not something that I can put up with. I cannot settle for this. This is a good thing. But instead of putting an end to your life, actually you can use this you could say this revolt, this energy, to put your life on a new course and do something positive with it and bring positive change. And that's what we're talking about tonight. You can keep going, but not on the same route. Keep going forward, not stuck, not dwelling in the past, not pining away, not wishing that you could have done things differently, because there's nothing about your past that you can change. And maybe that's a problem. Maybe that's contributing to your pain right now. the fact that you are just thinking about your past, that you could have been wiser about your love life decisions, that you could have made better choices in your finances, but you can't change anything that's back there. So you have to focus on the present right now. You're here. 2015 is the year. May is the month. And start from here. There has to be a starting point, and the starting point can be tonight. We have here tonight Victoria. Good evening.
Good evening.
So Victoria, keep going. That's the topic for tonight's Finding Answers. What can you bring? What can you talk about it tonight?
Well, during setbacks, we all often see a way out and feel very positive again. So that's very simple setbacks, but especially in a few weeks and a few days. But after an intense setback, people can feel that nothing that they actually do can benefit them. So you get this negative feedback loop. So everything that you do deems yourself, or you find yourself in a negative position. So that means that the consequence is negative, and you're much less likely to go forward and do that behavior again.
So in other words, sorry to cut you off, but basically it's like time is of the essence. The longer a person spends in this state, it's like the more difficult it gets to come out.
That's it. It's a learned behavior, and then it becomes a habit. Absolutely.
So that's a problem, right? Because that's not really true. That's not really true. The fact that you've been in a situation for a long time doesn't mean that you can change it. And actually, stay with us, because later we're going to show someone here actually that is with us in the studio that had a problem, stayed in a negative situation for years, but bounced back, overcame, and is someone victorious, someone happy, fulfilled today. So, people can learn from their past experiences, but do something positive with it, right? But the fact is that a lot of times, many times people, they consider their failure once, twice, 3 times as something to make them decide, I'll never try again, right?
Yeah, and that's when you get powerlessness and learned helplessness develop, and those things are really quite strongly associated with depression. And with clinical depression, once you are depressed and you're not finding anything interesting or motivating anymore, it's very, very difficult to get yourself out of that situation.
Right. You know what I believe? I believe that depression, when we speak about depression, it's a sickness of the soul. That's why there's no medication to effectively cure it, because it's a sign that your soul also, of course, it has a physical impact, an emotional impact, but it's a problem of the soul. It has to do with doubt about yourself, doubt about others, doubt about everything. And the more someone allows this doubt to be circulating in their mind, the farther away from the solution they get. So you can react, you can bounce back, you can fight back. You don't have to be in this situation. And if you want our help, you can speak to us here live right now. Even if you have a question, if you want prayer, if you want to speak to someone, if you want to speak to us here live, you can give us a call. Or if you want to speak to an advisor, you can do it too. You can send us an email. Victoria, the contact details are?
So you can speak to an advisor at any point. Our number is 020 7686 6300, or send us an email. Our email address is help@findinganswers.tv, or you can send us a tweet. Just start your tweet with @findanswerstv, or search for us on Facebook. Just search for Finding Answers.
That's right. And you are not too far gone. We are saying this, and we are certain about this. I'm certain that if you're watching us now, if you're watching us and you're in trouble, don't wait. Look for help. The problem only continues if we do not look for help. As long as you're looking for help, looking for a solution, you are plugging away, you're fighting to come out of this, eventually you will get there. We're going to go to a short break, and we come back. We're going to speak to our live guest.
Has the US been steering killer drones to Russian soil? Missiles won't reach Syria for several months.
This is your UCKG timetable. We are open 7 days a week, helping you to make a new beginning. Monday, a meeting focused on achieving more in your financial life. Tuesday, prayers for healing. Wednesday, a meeting teaching you to develop in your spiritual life. Thursday, a special prayer for the family. Friday, a service for your spiritual deliverance. Saturday, Find the One, a service specifically tailored for your love life. Sunday, Reconnect with God, the main meeting for your spiritual strength.
So welcome back to Finding Answers. Our live guest tonight, he struggled with physical issues, irritable bowel syndrome, tuberculosis, issues that he didn't have before, but these issues began after the loss of someone he loved very much, and it affected him physically, mentally, and emotionally, and put his life on a down spiral. If you are going through the same, maybe the loss of someone or the loss of something that you really, someone who was important to you, something that was important to you, put your life on a negative route, you're going to learn from his story how he overcame.
Pushing me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
Esther Rogadi, good evening.
Good evening.
I don't believe that I'll be able to pronounce the name throughout the interview correctly, so I don't want to make a mistake. I'll call you S.
Yeah,
is that okay?
Perfect, yes.
So S, tell us, where did the problems begin?
Well, basically, when I was around 21, 22, my father fell seriously ill and he passed away. I'd never experienced death in the family. You always hear about death.
How old is he? Sorry, when he passed. How old was he?
My dad was around 56, 57.
And you?
I was about 21, 22 at the time. And it was a shock because I saw him pass away. It was a traumatic time for the family because, like I said before, I'd never seen no one. You hear people who pass away, but when it's someone so close to you, it was a real shock to the system. So my father, we took him back. My parents are from Nigeria, so I went back to Nigeria for the burial, and that was an experience as well. But it's when I came back, I started to experience problems in my own health. Prior to that, I was always considered myself healthy. I never had no health-related issues ever. Never really had to go to the doctors or had any kind of problem. But when I did get back from Nigeria, I thought I'd just caught an infection because my bowels were really playing up. I kept on passing like number 2, but it wasn't just like normal. It just got desperate and I couldn't hold it. So it got to places might be embarrassing. I needed to know where the nearest toilets were. I needed to know get myself out of embarrassing situations, and it started to prove a big major problem for me.
So you never had these issues or any big physical issue before?
Never.
You believe that it was the passing away of your dad that really affected you emotionally?
As I said prior to that, I was fine. I had no health-related problems. I was never one that used to take time off sick. I consider myself a healthy person.
Did it affect you emotionally too? I mean, were you crying all the time? Or?
Yeah, it was a shock because basically, when you see someone pass away, because I remember getting to the hospital and within 5 minutes I saw him pass away because he had cancer, and I'd seen him suffering, and then to see your father pass away, and my dad was like a very strong man, and I saw him break down in tears, and to see a man break down in tears that you looked up to as a father figure, it was a shock. I said, how could this man break down? But to experience that, it was like a memory that stayed ingrained in my mind when I saw him take his last breath, and that proved very difficult for me because I couldn't get it out of my mind. I mean, obviously, I was there for 21 years with my father, but to see him take his last breath, it's like that memory vanished. And all that I could see in my mind was my father taking his last breath.
Did you started doing other things like drinking or this kind of thing after his passing away?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I started to, how can I say, because my health was beginning to affect me, I used to try and block it out. And at that time I was already going out, clubbing, but then I started to experiment with other things. And as you said, you know, when you start doing negative things, it's like more negative opportunities come your way. Friends come your way that influence you in a negative way. They think they're helping, but they start introducing you to substances. And I wasn't a smoker. I could never really take the smoking, but I ended up being a real strong binge drinker. Yeah, I used to drink like bottles of Jack Daniel's whiskey. I can drink like a whole bottle, 2 bottles, not mixed with a fizzy drink, but it was constantly like that every weekends.
And did you believe in God back in that time, back then?
At that time, you just say, because you grew up in a Christian family, so you just say that, yeah, I believe in God. Occasionally, when I was a kid, my parents used to take me to church. But if I say, did I really believe? Only, you know, like when something's desperate in your life, that's when you pray. But there was no commitment there to a church.
Right. You only remembered God when
there's a problem.
When there was a situation where was an emergency.
Absolutely.
And you ran to him.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And how did things get worse? Because at some point you told me you even went to the hospital. You spent some time there. Another disease. What happened? Tell us.
I mean, for 8 years, this bowel problem. I mean, the doctors told me basically I had to live with this problem.
Sorry, it was 8 years living with this?
Yeah, 8 years.
This could happen anytime, anywhere?
Anytime. I mean, the situations are embarrassing. I remember getting caught in traffic when I was coming back from work.
Did they diagnose what it was? Did they give you medication?
They said I've got a serious irritable bowel problem, and because the experience of it, I had to go through some procedures with some doctors, and it wasn't pleasant. It really put me off. The doctors were putting their hands in places I didn't really want them to be. And because he never told me what was wrong with me, he just said, look, just take this medication. Every time your bowel plays up, you're just going to have to live with this medication for the rest of your life.
Oh, so there was no cure in sight?
No cure. I just took the word of it, because when you go to a doctor, if a doctor says A, you just said, okay, that's it, A, and that's it for the rest of my life.
And you mentioned that at some point you also had TB.
Yeah, that's when things started to get even worse. I used to wake up in the night, and it wasn't even like, I can't describe it, it was a sweat. It was like someone poured a bucket of water over me, and it happened for months. And then I started coughing, and I thought I just had a chest infection, but I just couldn't stop that cough. And then I coughed so much, I ended up breaking a rib due to the excess coughing. And then it got to a stage that one day I was at home and I was struggling to breathe. I noticed there was a different pattern in my breathing. And having been to the doctors for about 2-3 months, they just said, oh, it's an infection. They gave me antibiotics, but nothing was working. And then I ended up in hospital.
Yeah, because of the TB.
It took them actually 1 month to diagnose what it was.
1 month in the hospital.
So I was in the hospital, and that was a very difficult time because you're in hospital, you know you're sick, I'm losing weight, I'm losing my appetite, I'm a guy who loves my food, but the desire for food, everything just disappeared. And you go through a stage when you're lying on that bed and you're just thinking, what is wrong with me? That's all I need to know. And it's not easy when a doctor comes to you, say, we're going to check you for this disease. They come and tell you they're going to check you for cancer. They're going to come and check you for HIV. They're going to come and check you for AIDS. It's probably one of the worst moments because you wait for those results, but they tell you they're going to let you know within 24 hours. And those 24 hours were
there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine. And all in all, throughout this time, how long did you spend there in the hospital? It was 1 month until they diagnosed?
Yeah, exactly 1 month.
And then when they found out it was TB, right?
Yeah.
It was TB. So they sent you home, you stayed there. What was the...
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I found out it was TB, it was a relief because I really needed to know what the situation was. You hear of all different kind of health-related issues. I just knew I was seriously ill. As soon as I found out, it was the biggest relief. But I'd been visited by friends who attended the church, and they always passed on a positive word because when I was in hospital, people used to show their emotions and actually didn't really help. They were trying to help, but they weren't because just the look on their face was one of already, they can see, wow, this guy who used to be big has lost so much weight. So it was difficult.
So you see, you're watching us right now. Maybe this relates to what you're going through. You know, you went through something that affected even your immune system. You see yourself much fragile. You know, getting sick all the time, being unable, maybe in a situation where, you know, no one can find out what's going on with you. Or maybe even, you know, diagnosed with something and offered no hope, just like he did. You have to just deal with it for the rest of your life, or maybe even worse. You only have this short period of time, 6 months, 2 months to live. Maybe you or someone you know has received this news. So in a situation like this, what's to do? What can help someone who received like a death sentence from the specialist and saying there's nothing else we can do, go home, enjoy whatever rest of time you have? Faith is the solution. Faith is the solution. When there's nothing else that man can do for you, your faith kicks in. Your faith is like a bridge that connects you to the power of God. And it has nothing to do with being religious. Whether you're a Catholic, an evangelical, you don't have any religion, you belong to a Jewish religion, Eastern, doesn't matter. If you use the faith you have to connect yourself with God and believe that through your faith this situation can be changed, you will find answers. And if you want to know how to do it, then you can give us a call. 0207 686 6300. It's one phone call that can change your entire life. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, S is going to tell us how he changed his life.
Welcome to your help centre. Conveniently located right here in the heart of Finsbury Park. Open 7 days a week with 4 services daily. There's surely something for everyone. No matter what time of day, there will always be a spiritual advisor on hand ready to speak to you. Or call our 24-hour helpline, your place to open up at any time of the day. If you're looking for motivational advice, a listening ear, or maybe just a prayer to put your mind at ease, then feel free to come in. No problem is too complex, so don't be dismayed. In fact, we have daily sessions that can tackle issues related to every area of your life, from the inside out. There's no appointment necessary, so you're welcome. And what's more, all the services we offer are all completely free. We offer practical, non-judgmental advice and motivational meetings that will give you the encouragement that you've been looking for. Also, if you're looking for special gifts or an inspirational read, then why not visit our bookshop? We have a comprehensive range of books and gifts at great prices. We also offer free childcare facilities during all of our meetings. So if you have little ones, let us take them off your hands. And for teens and youths, express your singing, dance and drama talent right here in our youth group. Proudly one of the biggest youth groups in the UK. If you need our support, you will find it. From the training centre that offers low-cost courses in media, business and language, to support groups for single parents, the elderly and the abused, free, confidential help is available. We work hard to provide for all your needs, from the inside out. Helping people is what drives us. So you're welcome. Are you a duck? What can it do? It swims. It walks. It flies. But does it do them all well? Yes, a duck can do all of the above, but it's not known for being great at any. So, are you a duck? Rather than attempting to do all things, why not be the best at one thing at a time? You will find you'll actually learn to be great at more things.
Definitely depression is probably number one.
They're arguing and they're talking negatively about each other.
What is more valuable than another? And so
you can have as many friends and families as you want. It just depends.
Is a common regret, like, oh, like I should have like asked that person out, or like.
Hi, I'm Chika here, out and about in London for Finding Answers. Tonight's topic is keep going. We all know the famous saying, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. But do they really? I'm going to find out from the general public. Let's see what they say. When the going gets tough, do you keep going?
Yeah, obviously. Don't stop. Get moving, get going. That's it, really. Yeah.
I usually tend to avoid the tough situations anyway, but in general, I mean, you just have to deal with it. That's life in general. So really doesn't really bother me at all. So
I think so. I'm very determined. So if things happen, I keep fighting until I get to the other side, I guess, or cross the bridge. So yeah.
Yes, I would say I keep going. I think it's important to kind of work through tough times and push through hardships. So it's what makes you stronger.
So we're back with finding answers, and tonight's topic is keep going. But how to keep going after something happened and it threw a wrench in the whole, machine, in your dreams, your goals. It is possible, and we are showing it tonight. So, S, tell us, how did the situation change for you?
Basically, as I said, at that low point, that was even worse than losing my father, I would say, when I hit rock bottom, because you can lose someone, but when you see your own health, a million things go through your mind. You start thinking about, what have I achieved in life? What is life about? And it's at that time I made the decision to come to my church, which I attend. Mm-hmm. I'd heard about my church before, but I never had that. How can I say? There's not that desire to go. I wanted to go, but you just say, yeah, one day I'll go. But as I said, when you hit rock bottom and doctors have told you you have to live with a situation, you've seen a lot of sad things happen in your life. Mm-hmm. I said, look, I have nothing to lose. I need to go here. I need something different in my life. Mm-hmm. So I attended. I started to speak to the counsellors here, the pastors, and I noticed something different because I had a friend who attended here, and I saw total transformation in him. So I knew there was something different about the place where I attended. Mm-hmm. So I said, look, if this guy can change, because he was like a real criminal, into bad things, but I saw his attitude change. So I said, let me go to this place, because if he can change, maybe this same God that helped him can help me. Mm-hmm. So sitting down, speaking to the pastors, they started to speak in a different way that I can overcome that situation. And to be honest with you, I'd never heard anyone say that. And they spoke with such an assurance. So I said, well, if this situation, if what they're saying is true, I'm going to put it to the test. So I was invited to make something called a chain of prayers, which invited me to come on Tuesdays they make a particular prayers for their health. Mm-hmm. And I was tired of my health problems. I was tired of thinking everywhere I go, I needed to think about a toilet. I was still physically weak. I was on a lot of medication a day. And I said, I really need to see a change. So I started to attend those meetings. Mm-hmm. My initial thought was just for my TB, because it spread around my body, and they were saying there could be a possibility of side effects, you can have some damage. And I said, look, I can't afford to have anything else go wrong with my health. Mm-hmm. So I began attending those meetings, and every time I went to the meetings, the prayers were helpful. They always advised you, keep and listen to the advice of what the doctors say, but also they just taught me about my attitude towards what I'm going through. And I think there was a turning point one day when the pastor made a prayer, and he said something that was very unique to me. He said, look, just believe in the prayer, because every time I left the place, if I felt a symptom, I'll start doubting immediately. If I had a phone call, I'll start confessing a lot of negative things. Oh, I'm ill, I'm sick. And this is exactly what he was pinpointing. It felt like he was talking to me personally. I thought someone had spoken to him how I personally felt. Mm-hmm. So in doing that, I started to change my attitude. And as weeks went on, I started to notice a difference. Started going to the checkups for the doctors. They started to wheel me off the medication. They said, no, you're improving a lot. And it was really at one point when the doctor said, look, you don't need to be on this medication anymore. And even though initially I came for the TB, I think the most amazing thing that happened, I wasn't focusing on my bowel problem. But then after about 3-4 months, I realized I haven't had this episode of a bowel problem for a long time. Mm-hmm. So obviously the negative thoughts try to come back in your mind to say, well, maybe it's just for a short time. So I started to put into practice eating certain food that used to irritate me, and I can honestly say to this day, I've never had that problem. Unless obviously I indulge and go crazy like any human being does. But
so one person you knew, right, who looked for a church, who decided to appeal to faith, and so 180-degree turnaround inspired you to believe.
Most definitely.
As that's what I'm saying. Use his story as an inspiration for your turning point. He had his turning point. Now it's time for yours. If he can change, then you can change. Maybe the situation isn't the same. Maybe it's not a disease, but it's something else that's troubling you severely right now. So, you know, if he can change through the power of faith, that also applies to you. And I believe that the root of everything was the way that you were affected by the loss of your dad.
Yeah, most definitely.
And faith is such an empowering thing as that I believe that today you don't have any problems talking about it, or coping with your dad's passing or anything.
No, because basically it's a difficult situation that everyone's faced, but it's through the power of faith that it gave me the strength to overcome. Because now I don't look at it in sadness, I look to help people, to embrace people who are going through the same situation.
You are a counselor today,
most definitely.
So I heard, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Today you inspire people, you help them. You came in need of help. Today, what an amazing work God does when we believe. So you see, today you may be in trouble. Tomorrow you can be inspiring someone. But you have to deal with the root of your problem. And there's certain problems that in order to heal them, in order to overcome, you will need the help of God. You won't be able to do it all by yourself. It doesn't matter how strong you are and how determined or educated or well prepared or experienced. Maybe you're going through a situation right now that you don't know what else to do. Maybe you are crying until today for the loss of someone who passed years and years and years ago, and you still can't talk about it because you're going to cry, you're going to get depressed. So you see, how can you snap out of this? How can you heal? You will need God's help. You need guidance. You need to use your faith. And we have advisors, we have counselors now that can speak to you, inspire you, pray for you, and give you some guidance, at least the basic steps to start a change in your life, even today. So you can still call us 0207-686-6300. We are live and willing to help you. We are live here at the studio, willing to offer you a hand. Okay, I want to thank you as for coming tonight, right? Know that you will come back with more stories still, okay? And stay with us, because when we come back, we're going to be talking to Pastor Abraham and then offer a special prayer on your behalf.
Uplifting. Diverse. Vibrant. Dynamic.
Powerful. Youthful. Informative.
Energizing. Passionate.
Motivational. Freedom. Lively.
Excitement.
She told me, you are beautiful. I love you. Say again. You are beautiful.
Your destination, a destination that's not defined by your circumstances, by what's happening to you now, by what happened to you in the past.
So today was my first time and I absolutely loved it.
Come and see. They need to come and really test it.
You are a warrior, and we need these qualities that you have to come and defend our household.
Just a big eye opener on how positive changes will make such a big difference in all that I do, so yeah.
What captured me was the title, The Inner Healing, because I've been going through a lot in my life and I've overcome them, but there were things that I needed to deal with that were deep down on the inside, and it was the inner healing that captured my thoughts, and I was intrigued to find out what was going on.
You get what you give out.
Women need this. Women need a meeting like this.
Hiding in my skin, broken from within, unveil me completely. I'm loosening my grasp. There's no need to mask my frailty, 'cause you see the real me.
Your mind is the center of your life because the decisions come from your brain. Now, the start of the process of change begins with you letting go of things that maybe have been in your mind that are not contributing for the positive change that you want. Wrong ideas, misconceptions, maybe some straight out lies that you were told. For instance, the Word of God says that nothing is impossible with God, but maybe someone told you that it's impossible for you to change, for you to become different. So we have to get these ideas that are wrong and get rid of them. Otherwise, you will not be able to ignite the process of change. And tonight we're here, Pastor Abraham, welcome.
Thanks very much, Pastor.
Usually, Pastor, I like to say that, for instance, if people are suffering today for something that happened a long time ago and they are still struggling with it, crying every time they remember, still feeling very much traumatized, what's hurting them today is only the memory. Because they are no longer that child that went through that severe situation, or they are no longer in 10, 20, 30 years ago. They're in the present. But it's the memories they've been clinging to, holding on to, that are hurting them today. So to be free, they have to let go of it.
And the truth is that if we don't change, nothing changes. If we don't change the way we think, the way we see things ahead of us, nothing changes in our lives, Pastor. And we can only see this great change by faith. And the funny thing is that God gave us eyes right in the front of our head because He wants to see us looking forward. You know, today we're speaking about keep going. We don't have any other choice in life but to keep going. But you can choose to keep on going, bound by your past, which just like Pastor Edward was saying, having your mind playing the tricks over and over again. We are now in 2015, but maybe you see yourself in 2002, for example. How can you solve this? When you change your mind. When you start living by faith. Faith that there is a God who can make everything new in your life. And the first thing God does is to change your mentality. Is to see the present. Because the truth is, Pastor Edward, there's not even one single person in the planet who could say that well, I'm very successful, and if I could, there is nothing that I could change in my past.
Yeah.
Every single person, you can find the most successful person in the world. That person, there is at least one thing in his or her life that he would like to do differently.
Yeah, the thing is, you know, they didn't dwell in that failure.
Yeah, that's it.
They didn't dwell in the past, right?
Yeah.
If they did, they wouldn't be at the point where they are now. And in the same way that if you're watching us now, you know, imagine you would be driving or even walking, you know, you would go outside your house and you started walking, but you would walk with your head this way. You would walk forward with your head back. The consequences would be disastrous, right? Yeah. So, of course, we drive looking forward, we walk looking forward, but unfortunately, when it comes to life, it's like there's many people, I mean, in a different kind of way, right? Not physically, they're not doing this physically, but spiritually, we could say, if don't know if that's the best word to use, but spiritually, they're like there. And the consequences are just the same. It's dangerous, right? We wouldn't walk like this or drive like this because we understand it would be a disaster.
And the serious problem is that most of the people who come to us asking for an advice or whatever, they say the same thing. I was told that I have to learn to live with this problem. You don't have to learn to live with any problems. Problems are not meant to be coped with. You don't have to cope with problems. You have to solve your problems. And we can only solve our problems by using our faith. Problems are there to be solved, Pastor Edo. Right. Unfortunately, people, they have this wrong mentality that they have to live, they have to learn to live with sicknesses, with a broken family, because this is part of life. No, this is not part of life. Maybe it's the life that you are told that you should live, but not is the life that we are here presenting to you.
That's right. And actually that's a contradiction, because if you know, you can live with your problem. That's not life. That's not life. It's something. It's suffering, that's pain, not life. But you can overcome. And if you want our help in prayer, then please quickly prepare a glass with water. I have mine here, we have ours. We are going to pray for you and determine that tonight is going to be the first day of the change. If you believe in this, the positive change, if you believe, then join us. It's a moment of prayer.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like us to make a prayer for your health and general well-being, send your name and prayer request to help@findinganswers.tv.
Our Lord and our Father, you said in your word that you make everything new. And in life, my God, we go through challenges, obstacles. But in you and through you, we overcome all of them. So in this very moment, we pray for those who are watching this program. This person, my God, who have been bound by her past of a broken marriage, broken family, past of traumas that she faced when she was a child. But now, so many years has passed by and this person is still suffering with these bad memories. So right now, my God, I pray, stretch out your almighty hands and touch, my God, where nobody else could touch. Touch in order to remove these bad memories. Touch, my God, in order to remove this virus, these sicknesses, these weaknesses. And we determine by our faith in you that the moment this person drinks this water, she'll no longer be the same. She'll receive a sign. She'll receive a sign that you are alive. She will receive strength, my God, as never before. And today, still today, she'll look for help. And she'll see her life changing. And very soon, this person who is watching this program, we determine that she'll be here to testify as well. that you are a great God. This is what we pray. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, we consecrate this water in Jesus' name. You may drink right now there where you are and be blessed, be strength in Jesus' name.
So we're coming to the end of tonight's program. It was a pleasure being with you until now. We hope we have inspired you. And tomorrow, Pastor Abraham, at the same time, the show goes on with more inspirational words.
For
right?
sure.
Right. Thanks for coming also. Good evening to you. Good night. God bless.